seconds. Guidance is internal.
So check it out, ladies and gentlemen. We have a very special guest. Her name is Sidarpi. Did I say it right?
Sidarpi, yeah.
Sidarpi. We call her Moneybags for short. And Sidarpi, we brought you on because you have, well, we see so much going on right now in society. And one thing that's, on a lot of people's radar is they say, Kanye's behavior, Kanye West, and he's dealing with mental issues. And you're somewhat of an expert of that, right?
It's my field of interest.
And what do you do for a living? So just to bring them up to speed.
Yeah, I'm a nurse. I have a bachelor's degree in nursing, and I specialize in psychiatry.
So that's your demographic of people that you deal with. So good. So you have more insight than us because we'll say some shit that might be kind of off a little bit.
And for those who don't, for those who don't know, Sidarpi, or RP as she goes by for short, because that name can sometimes be difficult for people to say, but I tell her just go with Sidarpi, is my fiance, is the love of my life, is my better half, is all those euphemisms. And
this is not the love show.
I'm here for it.
But I'll tell you this, I am so fucking proud of her because not only is she a beautiful woman and very kind, but she's also a professional and is good at something and is passionate about something. And that was something that attracted me to her out the gate. Was like, this person has an interest, has something that they really love and care about that they can't wait to do more of, that they're excited about. That was exciting to me because we're surrounded with people who's, if they have that at all, which a lot of people don't, but if they do, it's the same thing as us. Mm-hmm. Like it's something to do with physical health, internal health, training, something in those fields. Hers was so different. I was immediately captivated. I'm like, tell me stories about, I can't wait to hear about what happened at work today.
Unfortunately, she can't tell you though.
I can, if you leave out names and, just the general story, absolutely you can. I mean,
I'm messing. But adding on to what you were saying, Sean, I have the utmost regard for you, of course. And it gives me faith in whatever industry. One thing that disheartens me oftentimes is dealing with poor customer service for whatever you're dealing with. When it comes to certain industries, education, medical, health, and all of these things, I feel like people have got to be above reproach. You got to be excellent at what you do, or don't do that, because what you're doing, people's lives depend on it. You know, and if I'm ever in a situation or someone I love, because now I'm always worried about when my dad was in the hospital, I got to be checking everything. I need the doctor's number. I got to be on everybody's ass. But I know certain people like you, and there are other nurses and other professionals in your field that are legit like you. Like, y'all really give a fuck. You know what I mean? I mean, for the most part, it's like that, but you just, sometimes you're skeptical, but it just, knowing you personally is good to know that y'all exist.
Thank you. That means
and I'm going to say this too. People don't understand how much of the care in the medical field is actually done by nurses.
All of it.
The doctors tend to get the glory, and the respect that I think a lot. Not that doctors don't deserve respect. Of course, it's very important as well. But the nurses are carrying out the majority of the functions that are getting people well and taking care of them, and they're so important.
A lot of times, you go a doctor's visit, you don't see the doctor, or maybe right at the end. They say something, shake your hand, and they're out of there. But all of the interactions with the nurse. And
same goes for the patient. 99% of the time, the patient does not see the doctor and asks for the doctor and what the doctor's plans are. We're there 24 hours a day. There's a nurse at bedside. Yeah. The doctor pops in, asks us how it's going. Briefly, if they can, whatever time they have, they speak to the patient.
Pull this up a little bit closer to you.
Better?
Yeah.
Oh, there you
go.
I can
you
hear
see
myself.
That? You see that? Yeah.
Yeah. So the doctor's there briefly. I mean, they have a very important role, but they're not there 24 hours.
Y'all doing all the work.
Yeah.
That's what's up. All right, so let's talk about Kanye West. I have my notions on his situation. I don't think he's as impaired as the media makes him out to be. I'm watching like people's reactions. And some saying like, well, I'm bipolar, but I got to be held accountable for my actions. And the bullshit that he does, yada yada yada. And I'm like, hold up, he hasn't done nothing crazy. He's talking family business on Twitter. Big deal. A lot of people do that, you know.
Oh, you want to get
the
into
most
it?
recent thing? Yeah. I want to get into it.
So I think it's a huge issue. What he's doing on Twitter is textbook what we call mania. So in bipolar, which is what I think they think he has, there's no black and white in mental health. There's no test that tells you, he's schizophrenic or he has bipolar. But when you do have bipolar disorder, you go through manic and depressive episodes. And what he's doing is textbook manic, oversharing things that in someone who's sound of mind would not be sharing those things. Just inappropriate, grandiose. When I first heard that he was running for president again, I thought to myself, that's a grandiose delusion that manic people, when you're manic, you have these delusions of either you're God or you're, I'm Jesus's brother, or just, you have these elated thoughts of yourself. And that's exactly what was going on. Paranoid accusations towards Kim and Chris, and, they're trying to do this to me, take my kids here. I don't remember the details, but all I saw was delusions on paper,
right,
in his tweets.
You know what? I guess I might have all of that shit too, because I'm gonna tell you why. Like, this is why I don't lean towards him really having a heavy mental issue. I'm not saying there's nothing there, but I feel like everybody has some kind of mental issues. But I can understand everything he's doing. I don't agree with the way he's doing things, but I could see myself or being in situations to where I'm like, man, fuck it all. Like, fuck y'all, and saying whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because this is the thing that I'm cognizant of, and a lot of people aren't. I don't know if they are or not. But Kanye West, I relate to him a lot. We're the same age. We come from the same era of everything, and we was in similar circles for a minute. Like me and him met years ago. I feel like I feel him on a lot of things. A lot of things that he do, I'm like, I get that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But maybe it's because maybe I'm a little bipolar.
I mean, we all, it is a spectrum. We all lay somewhere there. But when it gets to the point that you're hurting yourself or the people around you, that's when it becomes a medical issue or a legal issue,
Okay,
I feel...
I got a question for you. Sorry to cut you off. So so as he's tweeting, right, the other day, that's the manic stage, right?
Well, yeah, the things he's tweeting,
This is why I don't buy it with him. Because Dave Chappelle flew out to see him the next day.
Yeah.
Everything's good.
Well, did Dave Chappelle speak on this? Did he come out and say, guys, he is unwell?
No. He went and they shot a video. And he's like, man, thank my brothers for coming out, checking on me, man. That's just real love, yada, yada, yada. It's like, be manic.
Yeah,
well, you know
it's tough to say that. Like, at that moment, he might have been just so happy and, expressing himself regular. You're not totally, you could be, but you don't have to be completely out of touch with reality. I have conversations with my patients that make me think, wow, they're doing so good. Look at them. They've progressed so much, and then 2 minutes later, I hear them talking to another person about how last night they were on the phone with Jesus Christ or Kanye West. And I'm like, oh no, we're not out of the woods. We call it like being in the woods and out of the woods. Yeah. So I think he's entering the woods. I don't know the details, but this seems like his...
he's ascending.
He's going there. Yeah, and when you take medications, assuming that he was, it doesn't just leave your system when you stop, right? The concentration in your blood decreases over time. So he would have perhaps periods of mania that if he stays off his meds for long enough, he will go full-blown manic. And that's where you don't want to get, because first of all, that's when the danger is real, and also second, it's much harder to stabilize someone who's all the way off the charts.
So I was reading, there was a situation when he got admitted. It was like the police there. They made him go, So it sounded like it was a domestic call. I don't know the details, but they came to his house to get him, and it wasn't, he didn't voluntarily go, but they worded it nice, but they was like, this motherfucker need to go. You know what I mean? So, but I can see that as like, he's yelling, him and Kim getting into it, because he's clearly not happy in his situation right now, his marriage.
Why do you say that?
Because he talked about it. You know, he said he wanted to file for divorce since she met with.
In these tweets?
Yeah.
Well, that's like catching me on a bad day. And if I was manic, I'd say things that I don't really mean
But here's the thing, like, I understand. I feel like kind of in a situation like his where I feel like I'm being betrayed by people that really should be loyal to me.
Yeah.
So I feel it, like, and I've probably done worse reactions.
So what's the
than
betrayal?
A tweet.
I don't know if
She met with Meek Mill about some prison reform, maybe some jealousy, maybe it's been something there at some point. I don't know. But Meek Mill is Drake's boy, and Kanye and Drake ain't good. So I don't know. They're
not
shit.
like marriage. I mean, you're not talking. I thought you meant betrayal.
He's saying I've been wanting a divorce since then. So who knows why?
Yeah, I can't speak if I don't know their marital issues.
And I'm sure that's got him very unhappy. She's moving around and look like they're just in different places right now.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's because nothing can hurt a person more than their significant other. Not that she's doing anything intentionally, but nobody hurts like their significant other can hurt them. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
And I feel like he just don't know how to this is my little anecdotal of observation. I feel like he don't know how to process a lot of shit. He's grown in so many areas of his life with his artistic creativity and professional life. But I don't think he's had any work done for himself, you know? Something that I know I've personally had to do and constantly are still working on it. And I don't think I know he don't have people around him checking him. Like, what in the fuck, bro? Take that shit down. You can't talk about this. I have people in my world that we have these discussions. That's not cool, bro.
But Mike, if you were manic and Sean or a loved one or somebody came and told you, yo, Mike, take that down, you would tell them no. At that moment, the mind state you're in, you are making all the sense. And the betrayal thing you talk about is very difficult. In mental health, it's important to remember that the difficulties the person's going through are,
real.
They're hard and real.
Right.
But the family and the loved one, they're with it. They're in touch with reality. And so trying to help somebody who is out of touch of reality and, trying to lead them towards you need to go to the hospital or take that tweet down that's inappropriate or you're not sounding right, that's a hard job. What do you do if you're Kim? He's in, I don't know what ranch he's in Wyoming, with security that he pays to keep others out. And now he's saying, I don't want anyone in. He's not taking his medications that he was prescribed. I don't know if he's seeing a therapist or whatever it is, he's in a decline, right? He's not he's not healthy right now. What are you to do?
When you guys I guess when you guys get patients, an episode happened, right? So it's not like you're trying to decide if this guy's got this or that.
No, it's both.
Okay.
If you're brought to me, it's because you were at some point somewhere, whether it was your home or out in the streets, police found you or a family member was concerned or whatever it may be. Either you are already known for a mental illness and are relapsing, you're not doing well, and you are brought in, or out of nowhere, it's your first episode, you're just acting bizarre, kind of like him in, I think, 2016. And someone's like, what, you're unable to take care of yourself, or you are a danger to yourself or the people around you. At that point, you have to be brought in for psychiatric evaluation. So either a loved one can come and say, we have to go to the hospital, you got to get checked out. If you're not listening to that loved one and you're like, no, I'm fine. I'm tweeting what I got to tweet and I'm saying how I really feel, and at that point, you're taken against your will.
Okay.
What is that process to get you taken against your will?
So you have to prove that this person is a danger to themselves or to others. So if you're talking about killing yourself for the sake of saving the world, or just killing yourself because you're so depressed, or I'm going to kill you, and just, direct threats of hurting yourself or other people around you is enough grounds to be taken against your will by authorities.
But like, how would you demonstrate that someone was doing those things? It has to be a recording. Can you just say that they said that without
you definitely
proof?
No. So let's say you said in Kanye's situation, somebody was called to the house. If I call the police, if I'm in a situation where I don't feel safe, and or I am concerned for the safety and the well-being of the person in front of me, you call the police, and the police or paramedics are allowed to make that call and say, you're displaying concerning behavior.
As a third party, they'll say, hey, this is what you're telling me. this is what I'm observing, and they match up or they don't.
Yeah, we got it. And then it's either we suggest you come with us to the hospital for evaluation, for treatment, or if you're already known for an issue, just to get you back on the meds that we already know work for you, but you've been off of them for X, Y, and Z reasons. But usually a third party gets involved, unless it's not so far gone that a friend or a family member says, "Hey, like, come with me. I'll come with you. Let's go to the hospital." It's more rare than being taken against your will, but yeah, you could. The ideal scenario is that person listens to you and walks to the hospital with you, drives to the hospital with you. Often they're tricked. We have so many patients that come in and say like, "Oh, my mom brought me here because she said I had to get my foot checked out." And then in the emergency, they go, "This guy's not well," and the doctor asks some questions to see where they are mentally. And if you display some psychotic or dangerous talk, you are then placed under a legal hold.
See, I get it.
Which is what Kanye was tweeting, the 5150 that Kim tried to. Yeah. Kim's probably, and it's so difficult that she's somewhere else. I don't know where she is. But she's not with him. How do you get this guy? You got to send in the authorities. But to send in the authorities, you have to prove that this guy is a danger. Tweeting absurdities is not enough reason to be taken against your will.
And I don't think he tweeted absurdities. It looked like an emotional fucking dude that can't control his feelings, and he's being, saying the first thing that comes to his head.
Sure, but we have some background on him.
Kind of like Donald Trump.
But we have some background on him, and we know that he's been through this mental health screening process. So we do have some. Okay, so he's not just high on drugs.
Right, so this is what I'm kind of piecing together, Detective Mike. All right, this domestic disturbance was, initiated. Police come. He's rich and he's Kanye. You're not just going to take him to jail, but we're going to take you to, 5150 or whatever, right? Because they're not average people. They just getting sent to jail. You know what I'm saying?
Well, in the police car or in the jail, if you're observed saying things that you can't hold a conversation or answer questions and you're just talking nonsense, we do get patients that are straight from jail. The cops are like, "Listen, this guy's iffy."
Then that's rare because, well, I would think, because I've been incarcerated a few times and I've seen the craziest shit ever. Yeah. And nobody's observing anything.
Yeah, that breaks my heart. That's a whole other topic.
Yeah,
like mental health versus...
You sit there and you're like, this guy is not right,
There's a lack of resources for sure. The system is flawed.
It is bad.
I agree with you.
So, I've seen people like coming off of heroin. I'm like, yo, this guy's gonna die.
Yeah.
Like they're in such pain. Like, nobody's observing anything.
Yeah, the resources are scarce. What are you gonna do? Put all those people into the hospital?
See, that's why. Okay, so this brings me to another point. So there's a rhetoric out. BLM start pushing this term in a policy called defund the police.
Oh my goodness.
No, but
I'm so happy. No,
listen,
please.
I'm like, at first I was like, man, I wish they didn't call it that. That shit's stupid. Whatever. How you gonna no police? I don't want to work with no police. But I said, let me read it. You read it, it makes all the sense in the world.
All the sense.
So for those who don't know, it's defunding the police. If you look, every city across the states, 80% of all the resources of tax dollars go to police department, right? So it's like, why? So they're taking some of that money away and allocating it to maybe someone, a professional in mental illness, or responding to a call versus a cop, or certain things like that. Is programs to help make police jobs easier. Yep. And it's just better for society.
And the system. And your jails won't be overcrowded. People will receive the help they need. The unfortunate
thing about that is they want jails. It's privatized.
Yes.
It's for profit. Prisoners are in there for profit.
Yep.
So they that's not a concern to them.
Yeah.
And it's so bad that they got to kick some people out. You know what I'm saying?
That happened in Orange County.
And that's their money. That's like, fuck, we got it. Making too much money. That's really sad to think about. It
really, really is. Because you don't see that happening with any physical disorders. This is only with mental health. And
you won't see that in no other countries.
Yeah.
The amount of, I believe the number is something like United States, maybe we're 5 or 10% of the world's population, but something ridiculous like 40% of all inmates are Americans. That makes no It's like, come on,
Yeah.
like
It's because of
it's
the
so
capitalism involved.
correct.
Yeah.
It's so clear that this is not
It became an industry, and industries grow. You know, that was the
exactly,
goal.
and the commodity is criminals, is inmates.
It's just so complex. Like, I come from Canada where it's a public system, the jails, the healthcare. We definitely have a whole set of issues that are separate, but healthcare is free. It's paid by your tax dollars. But here being private has its pros for sure. But this would be one of the cons, that this is no longer an aid or a support or a
This is a
decriminal.
business.
It's a business.
Right.
It's a business.
Right.
And that goes for the jails and the hospitals, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Defunding the police and allowing other people to answer those calls, like you said, would decrease the numbers of criminals. You can de-escalate a situation. You can
Right.
take someone coming off heroin and acting out, and the only reason they're being violent or aggressive or a danger to themselves is because they're coming off
Body's
heroin.
purging.
They're not, and so that brings up a whole other issue, which is we have a drug problem.
Right.
It's not purely mental illness. Like, people are like, oh, mental illness it's not a mental illness problem alone. These things go hand in hand. Someone who has schizophrenia finds relief in doing heroin or meth,
And
vice
sometimes
versa.
I have a family member that I'm very close to me that I love and was normal as normal can be. Had a little binge on cocaine at a certain point of her life, and she now has I think it's schizophrenia. Like, she talks to
Yep.
people or things that's not there. So
Very common. One can trigger the other,
Right.
yeah.
So they go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
My father used to work in that field too, and that was his people were mental disorders from drug abuse.
Yeah.
Or something.
Very
like that.
common.
Yeah.
I have a question with medication. If someone's been diagnosed and they've been prescribed medications and they're working for them, do you ever see where someone has been taking their meds and it stopped working, or is it pretty textbook that people stop taking it, like at some point they feel confident enough that they're in control? Which one do you think it is more, if either?
More, I would say it's you stop taking your meds. Very common.
But it's not like you forgot. You
No, you
consciously
do-
said,
you-
I don't need these anymore.
Yeah, you really truly get to a place in your life where you think, you're symptom free, and this whole holistic thing feeds into this issue that they think, okay, I'm in a good place now. I don't have my delusions. I'm not feeling psychotic. I can keep tasks. I can keep a job. I can care for myself. I'm gonna take half my dose today. Or I'm just going to stop taking my meds today, and the decline commences.
What a reason, real quick, what a reason that, because the way I think, if I had one of those disorders and the meds was helping me, I'd never want to get off.
Yeah, that's what you think.
But do they have like ill side effects,
They do.
stomach hurt, and stuff
Yeah,
like that? Don't
for
feel
sure.
good? Okay.
Yeah.
There's a trade-off. For them.
Yeah, the idea is to find, there's not one medication that works for one illness.
Right.
There's many medications that can interchangeably be used for many different mental illnesses. And that's also because a lot of these illnesses have some overlay, right? They're similar in their symptoms. So someone who's bipolar has depressive episodes, but you cannot give them antidepressants because then you risk putting them into mania. So there's, different meds you can use for different things. And the idea is to find the medication that gives you the most relief with the least amount of negative side effects.
Right.
Some people are able to live very regular lives on the medication that they were prescribed, very minimal side effects, and they're good. Some people, they have just such a hard time finding the medication that works. And when you find it, oftentimes the one that does work for you happens to have like the worst side effect. And now it's a struggle between like, I don't want to feel that anymore,
It's hard to say because I'm speculating, but I have a lot of empathy for the idea that you would stop taking it, because if I was diagnosed with a disorder, which would make me feel like I was less than normal,
Broken.
or not good as I was, and this pill or a combination of pills made me feel normal, just to be normal, not to be more, because I'm totally down with taking anything and everything that we can if the side effects are minimal, to try and be better than what's normal.
Right.
But if I need to take something just to be normal, I could see myself wanting to find a way to not have to do that, and especially if there were side effects.
Would you do that if you had a heart condition?
That's the thing. I don't have to, so it's hard to say that. But that one is a little bit different because it's an accessory of your body that's not performing so
the
well.
brain, you don't find.
Right, but there's this link I think that's hard to break between our brain and who we are. It's our consciousness, and although it is an organ, there's a lot more to it than a heart, which is where we transplant those. The heart, the kidney, we can switch those out. We don't switch brains out, at least not yet anyway. We haven't figured that one yet. Maybe we will. Elon, get to work. So we're working on that. But the brain is something where if you feel like it's betraying you, that's why some of the worst diseases are the mental disorders like the Alzheimer's and the dementia. They're so heartbreaking because it's who we are. Our heart or our hands or feet or whatever, that's not who we are.
Sure.
But I understand your question, though. The heart is bad.
That's how we should look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get it, but I'm already on team medication if the brain is broken.
Oh my goodness.
And for the same reason with you, like I want my brain to be optimal and beyond. So
that's how they need to. I think.
But that's why I would
tough.
stay on.
Yeah.
If I was broken.
That needs to be the perspective. Is that hey,
Right.
you just need this to be able to function. You're not broken. This is just something that your brain requires to function the way you want it to.
But I think, from my understanding, tell me if I'm wrong, I think a lot of times it is broken. It could be something that can trigger it. It could be, a traumatic experience, a drug, alcohol, whatever, physical trauma. So, but when things are broken, do they ever repair?
It's just it's such a complex matter and topic because like you said, you might just be predisposed to it and never touched drugs, never had, had such a healthy upbringing and never had any traumas or anything. But it kicks in at a certain age and then that's it. And you never did anything wrong, right? However, you could also be born with no genetic predispositions or nothing was wrong with your brain physiologically, but you did the wrong drugs at the wrong time, at the wrong place. You just did the wrong thing. And now you caused some neural damage and now you're screwed. So it's just so, or it could be both. You could have a genetic predisposition and it just never kicks off. Like, you never trigger it. Yeah.
Do you know of any people who are I know you may not be ready for this question. She's like, give me a list of questions so I can think about them. Do you know of the success rate or if there's any track record of people who are diagnosed as bipolar and then treat themselves without medication with just cognitive therapy?
So I can't give you like a personal example off the top of my head like that, but I do see that being a possibility because you could have, again, I hate to bring it up, multiple times, but it's a spectrum in that way as well. There's no, you are bipolar and you are not. There is a certain level of bipolar you could be, right? You could be just, sometimes I get out of a month, 2-3 days of mania and followed by 2-3 days of you could be fully functional and not psychotic and just have little breaks. But what we see with that is over time, it might get worse. So perhaps for the first 2-3 years, you were able to manage without medication. People just said, it's just how she is. She's like really funny and loud for a few weeks out of the month. And you know what I'm saying? Like, however, as the illness progresses, just like Alzheimer's, right? Alzheimer's can start with just forgetting a few names here and there, but eventually you forget everything. You can't keep, you know what I mean? Like there's a chronic degeneration that occurs. And so same can happen with bipolar. I could see that happening. Initially that you're able to manage, you just had like some bizarre moments, but everyone just acted, she had a bad day or had a weird day or whatever. Can you, and if it stays that way and does not progress, sure. I guess if you're so in check that you're eating right, doing your meditation, seeing a therapist, exercising, doing all the right things, and your illness never progresses, cool, keep it up. I really hope that for you. If your illness progresses, those things might not be enough anymore to manage. If that answers the question. And at that point, and by the way, when I say I'm all for medication, I'm all for you taking your medication for sure to comply with the prescribed treatment. Please still go exercise. Exercise whether or not you have bipolar, right? Meditate whether you're not, even if you don't have a mental illness, you still have to practice self-care like that. You still have to do the holistic measures of like meditation, exercise, whatever.
I'm starting to think that everybody has some form of mental illness.
Well,
I feel like we all fall in the spectrum somewhere.
Sure. Disorder. Illness would be, no, you have an illness, right?
Okay, we all have some disorders.
all of us have some personality
unless
disorder.
there's some prototypical brain and personality that this is the standard, I don't think it can't.
That would be incredible.
Right.
Someone who's fully in check.
Yeah,
Fully.
it's always a conscious thing. I know for me, it's a conscious thing. I got to decide not to do certain things that I know.
Sure, and it's tough.
There's been times though I know I'm not supposed to do this. I'm gonna do it.
That happens with me in my relationship. I know at times I should not be displaying like borderline personality traits. Like I'm going to threaten, if you don't give me your cookie, I'm not going to, I'm going to go to bed now, and I'm like, I shouldn't do that. That's not how it works. But you have to check yourself, whatever. Yeah. I don't want to get too personal,
See where your head's at.
You have,
Snacks.
when you want
snack
something
queen.
when you want something from your partner and you've learned these unhealthy, ways of getting what you want. Off the bat, I knew that wasn't going to work with Sean. So you check yourself. You
Right.
definitely, if not, he checks me. He'll say that method does not work. Next time, ask me nicely. Or and I think that's what makes, first of all, a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
Whether it's between father and son or girlfriend and boyfriend,
100%.
right? You do have to check yourself because we all fall somewhere on
And
that
people
spectrum.
in your circle, like for y'all listening, you should be around people and counsel with people that will give you constructive criticism, and you can take it and you can give it to them, etc. Because that's a huge thing. I know a lot of things. Like my father taught me young, like take a no, accept constructive criticism, the whole nine. And he was actually the coach of one of my little league baseball teams that I was on, and I was good. But if my attitude wasn't on point, I sat on the bench, right? So I'm like, dang. So I learned at an early age to be able to recognize my shit, and check it.
Good for you.
And I got a lot of shit, and I've been working on everything as much as I can.
Yeah.
And it's huge progress for my life. So I get it. I see, like, when I'm gonna go back to Kanye West. I feel like there's people who have personality characteristics that, if never checked, it just becomes a thing, and it gets worse and worse and worse.
100%. And then if you don't correct it, you fall under the disorder category.
Right, but
then it's an issue.
But like, they know now. They used to think that after a certain age, you're locked in, your behavior, all of that. But now they understand neural pathways, and that's a habit. But we can change it. But it's just difficult. But it can be done.
Kind of like the body. Kind of like with
Yeah,
physical
for sure,
training.
for sure.
If you were a skinny little guy and then you built muscle because that's what your brain might have been a little bit, wacky
Yeah,
here.
for
You
sure.
have not so great traits and habits. You can train it.
There's been
It's so hard, but you can
there's
do
been
it.
certain behaviors of mine that was becoming very habitual and not the best for me. But I wanted to always default to that. I had to consciously stop. Like, nope. And then after a few times, it's not even a thing, But Kanye, what made me just question whether he really has a disorder or not is when he went to meet with President Trump, at the Oval Office, and he was like, "Oh no, I don't got that shit." He said I was misdiagnosed. The real doctor said I'm sleep deprived, and it just makes sometimes I don't even know my son's name. Like, it could lead to dementia, Alzheimer's, or whatever. But I'm like, okay, so you crying wolf, or what? Or is that part of the disorder?
It's
like,
definitely
no,
part
I'm
of
good,
it.
I'm good.
Oh my God. The number one thing a person who comes to the hospital for psychiatric treatment or evaluation is, this is a huge misunderstanding. and we go, we know, so tell us. No one, it is so rare to have someone come in because it's too late already. You're past the point of you can't see yourself anymore like that. It's always like, oh, so what happened was, and then they have a, whatever explanation they made up in their head to explain this bizarre behavior that everybody is misunderstanding. It's called insight.
Yeah.
It's a blessing to have it. In the case, always, but when you have a mental illness, if you still have some kind of insight into your own situation, that's a blessing because that's when you seek help. That's when you get help. Denying it, saying it's a misunderstanding, or it was no big deal. That's
Now I got this under control.
Yeah, you don't. You don't.
I had a friend, this was years ago. He was my boy, but he would always do dumb shit. And he had some. I feel like maybe it could be a combination of things that get somebody's brain broken or sprained, like Kanye say. He didn't have his father. Rough upbringing, which is not uncommon. He always had a chip on his shoulder, you know? And he would do really dumb shit. Like one time I'm driving, there's a girl walking. He reaches over to my steering wheel and honks the horn. I was like, what? Why would... First of all, don't fucking touch my horn, bro. You know what I'm saying? And second of all, like, what girl do you expect to respond to that? And if she did, you want that? Like, what the... I'm just blown... Like, once in a blue, he'd do dumb shit like that. So... We hadn't seen each other for a while, hadn't talked or anything. We ran into each other at a club. What's up? Chopping it up. I wasn't following what he was saying, but we exchanged numbers just loud, whatever. Then we get on the phone. He's trying to like explain some shit. He's trying to make a point, but he's getting further and further away from.
It's called tangential thinking.
He just can't, and I can tell he's trying to get to it, but he can't stop himself from jumping to weirder shit. I just hung out. I was like, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know what to say. I couldn't stop him. And then, so I brought it up to someone, a mutual friend of ours, and they were like, oh, you know, he started fucking around with coke and da-da-da-da. And I feel like the traumas that he had as a child and the insecurities he had mixed with the drugs kind of fucked him up.
You know, Kanye has all of that on his side. Way too much money for anyone to make rational decisions with, right? When you have that much money, those habits we were talking about, you get to do them.
Right.
Chances of someone stopping you and telling you, hey, Kanye, you maybe don't act like that or don't do that is very low. This guy has all the money. I don't know the details of his upbringing, but, you know, perhaps some problems with it. No, he definitely has problems.
Well, he had a pretty solid upbringing.
He didn't have any mom and dad problem. That was Drake. Right? Somebody had mom.
But
anyways,
his
whatever
mom
it is.
was like a major person in the community.
Okay.
He had good education. He was all right.
Imagine, but the fame,
a young black man, he had a pretty good.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So education comes into play.
He living to others, but
I
for
hear
us,
you.
he was all right.
He's cool.
all right.
He passes.
Yeah.
But he did have the major trauma of his mom passing away completely unexpectedly.
Yeah,
His mom passing away.
2016.
Okay. All that money. The media. Can you imagine being so famous?
I get it.
There is no rest for your brain.
I feel like that kind of makes you a little. It kind of breaks you.
So predisposed.
Becoming successful like that.
Can you imagine constantly being bothered?
And he's not just a regular
celebrity.
He's a cultural, like, the respect and accolades will go to him maybe in 20 years when he's old, but he is a cultural icon.
Yeah.
And this last few generations of urban music is inspired by him.
Yeah.
And, you know, this guy had the most successful collaboration with a shoe, with shoes. Like, he's passing Jordan. He's a billionaire right now. It took Jordan a long time.
Imagine the stress, the attention, the burden of all this. Yeah, there's
and
positives.
And the complexity of your brain when you are an artist of critical acclaim.
Yeah.
Critical acclaim and the highest success, because they don't usually go hand in hand. So yeah, he's trying to being tortured.
He's also trying to be normal. He has all the difficulties of having a family and a wife who's also you have all those regular things you're trying to do, and now
you gotta be a strong person.
Yeah, it's inevitable to break. And I've always thought that these celebrities, that I was like, hey, do they have a therapist that they see more than a regular person? Like, if I could, I'd see a therapist every day. Just check in, just an hour. I want to tell you about my day. Right. You do that with your mom. Hopefully it's a social support system you've got going on. That's ideal. Right. I've always thought that there's no way celebrities are going through all of this on a regular basis with no help. You are bound to break. In Kanye's, you said that he's obviously very talented and not just musically, right? In all the other ways. Something he had brought up, and a lot of my patients do, and they're not even celebrities or artists in that form, is that it hinders their creativity. And that's kind of heartbreaking too. For someone who thrives off their creativity, whether you're a painter or you sing or whatever, and those juices start flowing. If you're on a medication, and when you're manic or schizophrenic, those juices are extra flowing, okay?
So it'd be good for your art.
It would be good for your art. Yeah.
To not take your medication.
Well, you could.
Yeah.
Because
I don't want to say your juices will flow for sure.
It's kind of a narrative that's out there. It exists that artists and the super creative people have some kind of instability or torment going on, and that's what creates the art.
Yeah.
It comes out of pain or some kind of suffering, like not out of joy.
Yeah.
There's something to that.
It makes a lot of sense.
And then his meds, besides the fact that they're stabilizing him, so perhaps bringing that creativity level back down to the normal where it would be for him, they could also be taking it past that, making it a negative, kind of fogging your creativity. That could have been at a baseline, but now you're like a little, because whatever way they work, and it's way too complex to talk about right now, but whatever way they work in your neural pathways, that side of you is kind of quieted down, because that's the idea, right? If you're having these delusions, psychotic, like persecution, someone's after you, or paranoid delusions or religious delusions, that's super common to have religious delusions, grandiose delusions. The idea is to quiet these delusions down, which is your creativity, right?
Nah,
like
for sure.
Your creativity is giving you these delusions.
Yeah,
You're creating.
I think successful people are somewhat delusional, somewhat narcissistic, especially in I look at what I do, like when I post a picture of myself with my shirt off, I'm like, why am I doing this? But this works. You know what I'm saying? But to be confident enough to post that picture is kind of weird. You know what I mean? And so, you have that, and to be bold enough to just step out. I'm going to spend money on this so y'all can buy it and I make more. It's kind of like, who do you think you are?
So those repeated habits is what I would say form a disorder, right? That's what would give you a personality disorder.
If you don't have it in check, if you don't
have it in check, right? So these regular people who just go about their lives to their office job or whatever it is that you do, me, I just go to the hospital and I come home. I don't feel the need to, what do I have to put out? Which habit do I have to continue so that my income continue? These habits that you're forming for whatever, for your career, for whatever, for your well-being, whatever it is, to get a partner or whatever, if they are negative, they will give you a disorder. You don't need meds for a disorder. Like you were saying at that point, maybe you need someone to put you in check, whether that be behavioral therapy, a therapist, a friend, somebody, or yourself.
I think meditation is a good start.
Meditation, whatever, yeah. If you don't put it in check, that's when narcissism becomes, you don't have narcissistic traits anymore. You have a narcissism disorder.
Right.
You just can't stop, and it just it gets more and more, and then you're a negative person, and you're, you got to check yourself.
I know people, and a lot of times I'll check something in me by seeing it in somebody else.
Oh yeah.
I remember a long time ago, a girl I was dating, everything I said, she just disagreed with. She was like, why are you doing that? You don't like me? Like, what's up? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it would be mostly in public, right? And it would be
So she had to gain from that.
It would be shit that she's not, that we're on the same page with, but she still had to be adversarial. And I was like, I don't ever want to fucking be that guy.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. Because it's a default to try to debate.
Oh yeah.
I have it. Somebody say something. Okay, but what about?
Yeah, that's called being oppositional. A lot of my patients are oppositional. Whatever you say, it's like no, and you would almost say the opposite to have them do, what you need them to do. Totally,
it's so weird. That. So little shit like that, I'm like, let me not do that.
Yeah,
let me check myself. So, and here's one thing. Tell me what this is. Tell me what I have. So I used to have this thing. It's fucking stupid.
I'm so excited.
People that work, not people that work for me, but it was one guy in particular, because very early he told a little lie, a white lie, no, a dark lie, because they try to make the white lie a good lie, a black lie. He told a small lie, right? That was and it bothered me that because I'm engaging with him because I know the truth, and he's just not sure that I know yet, so he keeps trying to. I'm like,
probe.
So after that, every time he didn't do something he was supposed to do or lied about or whatever, I would keep questioning him on why, and I would keep backing him into a corner to where, let's say,
it oozes out.
No, he can't. No one. It's very rare that somebody just own their shit 100%. The first lie, this is so stupid, but he worked out with us, and we was doing sets of 20. on the leg press. He did like 11. I have a habit of counting everybody's shit because I used to be a trainer.
Wow.
So I counted what he did. So did someone else count what he did. I said, how many you do? I was gonna say keep going.
Remind me to never lie about myself.
He said 20, all of them. No, he didn't say 20. He said all of them. I said, well, what is that? 20. I said, you want 20. So it was that was the lie, right?
Oh, okay.
But that shit bothered me.
But he has a gain from that. I guess to impress you.
Yes, but that doesn't impress.
Yeah,
bro,
I hear you.
I'm asking you this because I know. Right? You know what I'm saying? Why do you think I'm asking? But anyway, I guess sometimes I'm too logical to where it gets weird because I'll keep pressing you. I know that no one's going to say, oh, I didn't think you was paying attention. So I just said 20 so I could be.
Yeah, but Mike, you know what helps me?
Look. All right, so I will keep. I know that he's not going to say. He's not going to admit that, right? And it's him working out. He's just not getting a good workout. It doesn't affect me, but it does because he said it to me. What is that?
No,
and I'm backing him into a corner.
Yeah.
And I'm making it weird. I don't do that no more, but I used to do that shit. Like I would keep fucking pressing.
Okay, let me tell you what that is. Not helpful. And why I say that is because perhaps there's a healthier way, I think, of doing it. Like, discreetly making sure that he understands that you understood and saying,
it's a better way I could have handled that.
Like having said, oh, okay, I was just checking. Like if you didn't do the right amount of sets, the only person losing is you.
Right.
And and the next time he'll feel stupid.
Or I could have made him feel bad. I could have been like, hey, bro. I asked you that because I knew what you did.
I counted.
Sure. Look, that's still not mean. That's still not mean.
Let's not have that relationship. Like,
yeah,
I could have did it cooler, but
totally.
In the moment, I'm like, why'd you say that? Like,
you're gonna probe him. Yeah. That's nothing. I don't think. You're fine. You'll be okay. So you're gonna live.
I'm not on the spectrum yet.
You're definitely somewhere on this.
That's not Asperger's.
No,
because I say shit that most people don't say.
Yeah. No, it's not that simple.
Oh shit! Somebody, I guess they need you.
Yeah, I gotta
go. That's the bat signal.
We need you, Batman.
Yeah, I gotta go.
We gotta do a part 2 because it's still so many questions.
So complex. There's so much.
But we want a day that you don't have
work.
Right after,
gotcha.
so we can just. Because we usually do 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours.
Yeah.
So much.
8 hours is a short one.
Yeah.
Now, but for real, it's a lot to dive into, and I want us to all go there in a deep level because people don't understand what it even looks like sometimes, and it may not be somebody's being an asshole. Right?
Because it may not look like anything. Physically, you might look great.
Right. Usually that's the case, right?
Look at Kanye. He looks great with Dave Chappelle in that picture, in that video. They look so happy, and you can't tell.
Right. And the people that you see that are admitted, a lot of them are normal people, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
A lot of them are really crazy looking too. Right?
A lot of them are really crazy.
Was it like
too,
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? You ever seen that movie?
I think you've told me to watch. I know you've told me to watch that movie. I have not yet.
We need a movie night. We gotta watch that.
And then the other one you told me to watch was Bob.
Oh, what about Bob?
That one. Did we watch that one?
The best.
Yeah, I have to get on that. But Mike, I reserved 5 extra minutes for something.
Okay. Oh, you wanna? Okay.
I need to know.
All right. Shout out to Jessica. Jessica is my executive assistant, and she's dope. And she came up with questions.
Okay.
I have not reviewed not one of these questions.
Oh no, then it could be weird.
Yes.
Yeah. It could be
then can I not answer? Well, what do you mean? You're not going to force it out of me. Yeah, no. If I don't want to answer, I'm not going to answer.
We got techniques in waterboarding.
Water?
Nothing. All right. Okay, this is.
Can I read it?
It's vanilla.
You're going to invent something.
No.
Weird.
I promise you.
Is it on camera?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Saturday morning. What's the first few things you do when you wake up? That was boring. I'm fucking with you.
No, that's boring. It's cheesy. I don't know if you want to hear it. It's cheesy.
Yeah, we want to hear it.
It's Saturday. Well, if I don't work, because if I work, it's straight to business. But if I don't work,
ideal Saturday.
Oh, ideal. I'm off. It's really nice outside. Sean wakes up early. I turn to him. Positive affirmations. A little bit of love. You give him a kiss. Good morning. All that stuff.
What's some of the positive affirmations? You're a king.
No. It's the other way.
It's the other way because I'm very sleepy-headed when I wake up. So I usually wake up to him giving me positive affirmations.
What do you say? You are like Aphrodite. I look into your eyes and see the stars.
Oh my God,
that?
No, I tell her that.
Get your motherfucking ass up.
That she's late. She needs to hurry.
Hey, he be like, no, Sean. He more subtle. He like, oh, you still asleep? Still sleep, huh?
You didn't turn the sauna on at all?
Loser. No, tell them the truth.
No, I tell her that she's beautiful. I tell her that I love her, that she's gonna have a good day today.
That's important.
No, like all that type of stuff, honestly, because I want to set her mind up right every morning.
For sure.
Like, and just let her, because, the day gets hectic. It gets like we get caught up, and I may not be able to talk to her as much as I'd like to throughout the day. And so I want her to be programmed with that from the beginning of the day, that's what I'm doing. Even if I can't speak, that's how I feel.
Right.
And she can, it can't hurt her day to think that.
That's dope. And this is a team effort here, right? Because when you and I have something late to do or we're about to dive into, I'm like, yo, you sure it's cool?
Yeah.
I'll make sure that he's not going to get in trouble.
He's just scared because
You know what
if
I'm
he
saying?
doesn't answer, I'm messaging Mike. That's
I
why
don't
he's
want.
checking
I just
in
don't
with
want.
you.
I want y'all to have peace
Yeah.
at home. That's all.
And
And I get it because our life is busy.
It's
It's
a lot.
not
It's a
nonstop,
lot.
and it can not. Like I know me personally, and I'm sure you're the same. We turn it off as a choice. Not.
Oh yeah,
because there's nothing.
He says
to do.
He says we wrapped up because it was like embarrassing almost when it's like 11:30 and you're still at the office. He
It
says
could
the
be at
work's not
home
done.
too. Like it could be at home.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
100%.
Ladies, if you don't want a broke man, you're gonna have a busy man. I'm just saying. Give us a break a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
So wait, let me bring up the affirmations. He says a lot of nice things. What's funny is the one that really works is when he says, "You're gonna have a good day today." And for some reason, it always, because when he says you're beautiful,
You're like,
of course I
believe
appreciate
you. I
that.
believe you.
Yeah, I go, dang, he's right. I'm gonna have an awesome day today. I don't know why that works. I'm not a child. Like I get that, just because someone told me something, but for some reason it triggers this.
But there
I'm gonna make
is
today
a certain,
great to show him.
Isn't there certain mental disorders though, to where people respond to childlike requests? So that makes I was fucking with you.
Like mine.
I'm making shit up on the fly.
So wait, let me continue.
All right,
After
all
the
right, all right.
affirmations, so we're gonna work out. It's Saturday. We're gonna work out. We're gonna try to wrap that up as quickly as possible. Brunch.
It's a thing for you.
It's my second religion.
It's a thing.
It is.
All right, well, you got time for one more?
I do. I don't, but I really want to.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to do it.
All right, let's see. This is heavy.
Can you show it to me later?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll put it right
I'm
here.
scared.
It ain't. Maybe it's not that heavy, but when was the last time you tried something new?
Oh my god. Today. This was new.
Doing this?
This was new. Yeah.
I've been an advocate for you to be on YouTube for a long time. You should. Don't y'all think she should be on YouTube? Cause she kind of funny. Just a little
Sometimes.
bit. Sometimes. Once in a blue on
Stems
Wednesdays
from my
and
anxieties.
Fridays. You know what I mean?
Saturdays.
It's brunch.
Brunch time.
But cause you're smart and you're funny, and
Thank you.
sometimes it's not. It's just a drought of cool people on the net. It's crazy. As many people as on YouTube, there's not a lot of cool people.
You're right. There is a lot, eh? I haven't
Yeah.
thought of that. There's a lot of
It's a
people.
lot of fucking people.
Yeah.
I see
I'll
shit
think
outside,
about
I
it.
be like, oh, like this guy, like.
I'll think, you know what? This podcast is the last time I tried something new today. And it just makes me think about, maybe the next thing I try would be, I don't know about YouTube, but something. Yeah, a podcast. I don't know. I'm scared. I don't know. Maybe if you include in your positive affirmations.
Yeah, you got a Jedi.
Slide it in tomorrow.
Jedi
We'll see.
mind tricker. Positive affirmations.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We don't want to hold you any longer. You got important work to do.
Yes.
So
Thank you
this
for
is
having
this
me.
is kind of more important.
I was so excited. Mike, when I was told about this, I was like, finally, it is happening to me. I was like, it is time. We
Right.
talk about this. And
Nah, for real.
yeah.
And we haven't
Thank you.
really, we barely even scratching the surface. 'Cause
Barely.
I want
When
to
I
talk
say
about
barely.
Britney Spears.
Oh,
I want to talk about a lot.
Oh my God,
I wanna talk
Mike!
about a lot, yeah.
We have to discuss this.
Yeah.
There's so much going on with that, and
It's so-
interestingly enough,
I need to hear it from you because
a
it
topic
sounds
was
bizarre
brought.
to me.
It is not. A topic was brought up in that situation that was not brought up with Kanye, and that's the conservatorship. She has a conservatorship with her father. I don't know if you
And-
know anything
and a
about
lawyer.
this, and a lawyer. And there's so much drama on the internet about these things. Being someone who knows exactly what those two things mean, having a conservator, it makes me want to just word vomit on my Instagram and tell whoever I'm following that you guys have it all twisted.
Right.
You have to do one about this.
Yeah.
Mainly because I want some more camera time.
Done deal.
but also
And
because it's an important
she just
topic.
learned about how to talk into the mic.
Yeah, I like this.
Right.
Yeah.
Say no more.
I'll be here.
I'll be talking like this all the time, but
Yeah.
I usually don't talk like this.
I feel like I should whisper.
No.
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 What is
sorry.
that? AMS.
It's
ASMR.
gonna
That's
bring the
that's
wrong-
episode
it's
number
gonna bring
3.
the wrong people to the channel.
Listen, followers are followers.
We don't want those viewers. No, just kidding. We'll take them.
Nah, I don't. Whatever.
You guys.
All right, yo, we
was
wrapping
so
up.
nice.
We out of here. Halas.
Thank you.
Peace. Thank you.
We have a liftoff.